Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to tell you 16 things you better not be doing in Rec Room. If you like this video, then please use code TARA in your watching the game, or use that support button on my profile. Support lasts 45 days, so check back to renew it often, and let's get right into it. Number 1. Don't beg for gifts. Let me tell you a story. Rec Room recently had their birthday room with a new storefront in it. I headed over there as soon as I found out, and I thought, what the heck, I'll go to a public lobby. As soon as I arrived there, I noticed that there were a ton of people hanging out right in front of the storefront. I could barely even get in there to have a look. However, I realized they weren't just checking out the items, they were literally typing in chat, "Halo please," or "Gift me wings," just to anyone and everyone who would listen. This has to be the laziest form of begging I've seen in my entire life. Usually these individuals just lurk and wait for opportunities to ask for free items. It's a big no-no. So if you're one of those people asking complete strangers for a pricey clothing item, at least say hi to them first. Ask how their day is going. This whole getting in their face and starting to ask for things immediately is so rude. Number 2. Don't start pointless group chats. I have lost count of how many group chats I've been added to against my will. It's insanely irritating to be in Rec Room and suddenly be getting a ton of chat notifications beeping in your ear, only to go investigate and realize it's from someone you barely know that invited half their friends list to a useless conversation about nothing. Most of the responses will be utter confusion. Why are we here? Who invited me? What's going on? I can't hit leave chat fast enough. Of all the things on my list, this has got to be the most annoying, and the one I wish Rec Room players would stop doing. Number 3. Don't force people to party up. Actually, I remembered a more annoying one than group chats. If I could put an end to any Rec Room behavior, it would be this one. If I'm standing and talking to someone and they just randomly stick their fist out imploring me to party up, I'll give them a look. I've even had my hands at my sides and had people force me to party up against my will. Those people really grind my gears. Look, if I wanted to go somewhere with you, I'd ask, but I'm probably already in a party with my friends, so it's not gonna happen. At least ask someone before you send a party request or a fist bump. Don't just assume that you're gonna be able to tag along or that no one's noticed the fact that you just weaseled your way in uninvited. Not cool. Number 4. Don't avoid reviving people in quests. There's 3 kinds of people who don't revive in quests. 1. The person who's just bad at the game. They see people dying all around them, and they die trying to take one step in the general direction of their teammate. 2. The ignorant player. They see people dying all around them, and they don't notice, or pretend not to notice, and everyone dies. And 3. The purposeful non-reviver. They see everyone dying around them, and they continue trying to clear the room of enemies because they see their teammates as a hindrance. Whatever kind of non-reviver you might be, just note that it's a multiple player quest for a reason. Everyone deserves another chance at life, even if they did just friendly fire someone for the 7th time. Just be kind. Revive. Number 5. Don't brag about being under 13 on a main account. I have lost track of how many kids I've encountered in Rec Room who have no issues with telling me they're under 13 but on a regular account. People, you should be on a junior account. If you refuse, fine, but either act mature or keep this information to yourself. If you tell people, you're probably going to get juniored. People love to hit the report button for this, and an option even exists specifically to out people for telling you they're underage in the game. Number 6. Don't refuse to stand on the mat in quests. Now, I'm not going to call out a whole group of people here. Well, what the heck? It's mainly the juniors that do this. Are they just confused because they can't hear anyone? Are they being passive-aggressive towards non-juniors with this behavior? I really don't know. But the quest starts, and all everyone has to do is collectively stand on the mat to unlock the door. You would think this is like the most simple thing in the world, something that even a group of wild rabid dogs would eventually figure out they had to do, especially if food was involved. But for some reason, nonchalant Newt 9534 cannot figure out this complicated endeavor. I guess when they refuse to stand there, it's at least a sign that the quest isn't going to go well anyway. The odds of them reviving you or showing any slivers of teamwork are basically nil, so you best just switch lobbies. If you're someone who doesn't stand on the mat, I really think you should stick to dodgeball or something more simple, okay? Number 7. Don't mic spam. No one wants to hear your crappy music. There, I said it. Number 8. Don't spam invites. If your friend doesn't want to hang out, they'll probably just ignore your invite, at which point you should take a hint and stop sending invites. 2 is okay. I think a general rule we can all agree on is 2 invites max. After that, take a hint. Their watch is off, they don't care, or they're busy. Try again later. If it's urgent, send a DM. We're stuck at the bog level in Crimson. Send help. Jumbotron is picking on us again. We need a carry. That kind of thing. Then just let it go and let fate decide whether or not they're gonna join you. Number 9. Don't assume everyone is old enough to use explicit language. Something that makes me cringe, and I honestly feel like it's not talked about enough, is when people assume that everyone in the room is in their late teens or an adult, and they talk inappropriately. This could be swearing or talking about mature topics, but just in general, I always find it completely insensitive, and I wish people would stop doing this. Just because everyone with a mic is supposed to be 13 plus, that doesn't always make it so. And even if they are 13, why should they be exposed to constant F-bombs and some horribly deplorable language? I feel like some people watching this are thinking, well, that's what you get. It's a game on the internet, blah, 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 and that's fine. You can have your opinion. Mine is that kids deserve to be kids, and if you're older, you should try to be a good role model. I don't think you'd stand at the grocery store talking like that to all the strangers around you, so why do it in a public space in Rec Room? I feel like the same principles apply. Number 10. Don't brag about how many tokens you have. There's a reason that you shouldn't brag about your Rec Room bank account in the game. Actually, 2 reasons. One is that you'll attract the gift beggars faster than you can say 5-star, and you'll quickly regret your decision to open your mouth. The second reason is that not everyone can afford tokens or afford Rec Room Plus, so when you brag, big, you might actually make your friends feel sad and jealous of your affluence. It's best to just keep quiet about how many tokens you have, trust me. As a RecTuber, I try to limit people seeing my balance because I've noticed a direct correlation with showing that number and having people ask me for things. And look, I don't mind sending gifts to people. I just don't do it when I'm put on the spot and begged for them because it only encourages more people to ask. Number 11, don't abuse the reporting system. What not to do 101, abuse the built-in reporting system. I've seen people report others for simply existing, taking up a spot in Rec Royale, being too good at the game, teleporting, which is not against any rules by the way, it's literally the only way you could move around when Rec Room first came out, and various other stupid reasons. The reporting system is legit there to report toxic players, people cheating at the game, and to catch those pesky non-juniors who bragged about being on a regular account despite being 7. It's not for you to exact revenge on someone over something petty, so remember that the next time you fill out the form in-game. Number 12, don't hit start before everyone is ready. One of my personal pet peeves in the game, and an all-around appalling thing to do, is hit that start button on the scoreboard when someone is still waiting for their friend to spawn in, the lobby's not full, or people are chatting between rounds and want to finish their conversation. Like, really, it just takes a moment to yell, "Everyone ready?" instead of taking it upon yourself to force people to begin playing. I find this happens often in games like 3D Charades, and I'm always secretly wondering who hit the button before I could wrap up my conversation. Mind you, in hindsight, maybe they were just growing weary of me talking for 15 minutes straight between games. Number 13, never impersonate staff or YouTubers. Something you should definitely never do in Rec Room is pretend to be someone you're not, especially if that person is a YouTuber or staff. First of all, I will never understand why people do this, but the main reasons seem to be attention or trolling. Second, if it's staff you're pretending to be, you can find yourself banned over it, so I don't recommend it. You know what you should do? Just be you. There's probably nothing wrong with that. Number 14, teaming in PvP games. Definitely do not team up in PvP games. You will find this happens the most in games like Rec Royale, more often in solos than in squads, though I have seen it happen. It was way worse than the weekly challenges included Rec Royale because people wanted to get their kills in faster, and what faster way to do that than just teaming up in solos and taking out other people? Mind you, this is a quick way to get reported, and it's also just fundamentally wrong. If you're in solos, don't treat it like squads. If you're in squads and teaming, then I don't even know. You're probably just incorrigible at that point. Number 15, never ask people for personal information. Now, this is just straight up internet safety. Don't give out personal information in Rec Room, and don't ask other people for theirs, including everything from what school you go to, what town you live in, etc. Respect people's privacy because getting doxxed is a real thing. People forget that Rec Room is still the internet, and people are sometimes malicious and not what they seem. So definitely take note that you should protect this information at all costs and expect others to do the same. Number 16, don't be toxic. This really should go without saying, but after witnessing 2.5 years of public lobbies in Rec Room, apparently it needs to be reiterated. Don't scream at people, don't be a huge jerk, don't get in people's faces, don't try to do weird creepy stuff like make out with them against their will. Yes, this has happened to me. These are just a few examples of undesirable behavior that falls into the toxic umbrella. Please reassess your behavior, and if you're doing any of the things I've mentioned, try to do better. Today's a new day, and as they say, give it your Rec Room best. If you found this video entertaining, then you will definitely enjoy this next video that I put up on the screen here, and don't forget to subscribe before you head out.